Hey everyone, welcome back to our place. We are excited to be jumping into a transition series of sorts. And to kick off that series, we have Ken Surdin today, who is at the Excel at Georgia Tech program, the founding director. So he started and founded the program in 2014 and has really built it. I mean, it's seen impressive growth in the almost 10 years that you guys have been around. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So I know we're going to kind of talk about how families can start preparing for that after high school transition phase. But before we get into that, let's start with what your program is. I think a lot of families don't even know, there's options for after high school for their kids.
Yeah, so we're one of over 200 programs out there that specifically serve students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. ThinkCollege.net is a great resource for families looking at the programs. Basically there's three categories, I would say. There's dual enrollment programs. So in collaboration with the high school, students might be taking courses at a college or university. There's two-year certificate programs, which is by far the bulk of the programs out there. And then there are four-year programs that are certificate programs like ours.
Okay.
All of them vary in what they offer and what they, focus on. There's similarities, I'm sure, between them all, but there are, distinctions as well.
Yeah. Well, so I think because most of these programs are fairly new, probably started in the past 10-ish years from what I've learned about them. And the number one obstacle that I hear from you and others is, parents haven't had enough time. They don't find out about us early enough to start that preparation, maybe in that ninth grade starting period versus, their child's about to age out and they're just finding out about you guys.
Yep.
So talk to us a little bit about how families can, when they should kind of start exploring options and programs like yours, when they should start preparing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just moving my screen here for a second to get it on my laptop. There we go. Much better. So I don't think it's ever too early to start talking about college. I've had people come to information sessions with students that are 10 years old to see what
Wow.
the program looks like. Yeah, I love that. It's not often, but it happens, and I think getting a student experience, seeing what a college campus looks like, understanding that after K through 12, this is an option, and what college is about and what it's like is great. So it's never too early to start planting that seed and having that conversation about what might be out there, after they graduate.
Yeah.
But for those families that are coming to it later, there's a lot of catching up to do. And so, the sooner that you can start exploring the different programs out there, your son or daughter better than anybody else, so what kind of environment might be the best fit. And there's all kinds of programs out there. Some are in small towns and small campuses. Others are in urban settings. Just like any other college or university option, there's lots of them out there. So getting a sense of where somebody might be most successful is really important as well. Visiting programs, going to information sessions, hearing their philosophy, seeing what they offer, all of those are good things. And then, of course, there are the things that you can do to start preparing for college as a student or as a family preparing your student to transition into college.
Yeah. And so just to clarify too, your program specifically, do they have to have a high school diploma or can they have a special education certificate?
Yeah, it's case by case. So we've had both. By far, the most students that we've had have been, had a high school diploma, but every state is different in how
Yeah.
they label those. And so I get applications from all around the country. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what about, because we do a lot of content around IEP meetings, and things to be thinking about, things to be discussing in those IEPs, the goals and everything like that. So should programs like these be something that's probably brought up in an early stage of those IEP meetings and setting goals around the programs that they're targeting?
Absolutely. We have a question on our application, which is post transition, college part of the IEP or a goal on the IEP? Is that something that they're working towards?
And do you find that maybe like the teachers don't usually know? Like, why do you feel like that's probably not brought up in a lot of IEPs?
Yeah, there's, just like there are students and families that are unaware of these programs existing, there are teachers and
Yeah.
counselors and schools that are unaware of them. So, that's changing. I think more and more the word is getting out. And I know that's the case because when we started the program, most of my applicants were, 23, 24, 25. And now I'm getting students right out of high school that are applying. So, but, there's still plenty of people that are totally unaware of these programs.
Yeah. So what are, because I mean, I've looked into some of those programs and Think College is a great resource. We're hopefully going to be doing some content with them in the coming weeks. But you hear all, I mean, just like any other college, any other program, for whether you have a disability or don't have a disability, motivated individuals is a key component of something that they look for. So, what are some things that you would recommend to families to maybe push their child to get involved in or participate in that high school age that would set them up for success going into a program like yours?
Yeah, it's all the same things that, would be considered competitive for a degree seeking student, or a
Mm-hmm.
neurotypical student. I like to see independence, so from a basic standpoint, they should be setting their alarm in the morning, getting up, not being cued to do everything that, they should be able to get themselves ready, make a basic meal. They should be able to do some, chores or tasks at the house,
Yeah.
working on transportation training. So it could be getting a learner's permit if that's possible. If not, being able to use local transportation if that's available in their area. If that's not, possibly Uber or Lyft. Showing independence and being able to go places on your own, if that's possible. Having been away from home, going to a camp, or extracurricular activities that you're involved with at your school, where you're away from your parents.
Yeah.
Because
Working.
working, I was getting to that, but for our program, work is a major indicator of success. Because we have 7 internships over the course of the 4 years that students are here. So to be competitive to even get into the program, you need to be able to demonstrate that you've had a job, that you could show up to work on time, dress appropriately, complete tasks, get constructive feedback and emotionally and socially regulate yourself with the feedback, and do a job. It doesn't have to be a full-time job, but
Yeah.
a paid job, and not in your uncle's office shredding paper in the corner, right? It's got to be something that's real and measurable. And the other thing is college is not for everybody, just
Right.
like it's not for neurotypical students. There are trades out there, there are jobs out there. Some people are ready to work, but for those who want it, college should be an option. And having an understanding of what college is. I have lots of interviews with students that come in and they don't know what college actually is.
Yeah.
So preparing them to understand, like, you're going to go to class, you're going to get involved in clubs, you're going to do internships, you're going to learn independence, all of those things they need to understand. Otherwise, they don't know what they're getting into, and that's not really fair.
Yeah.
So,
Probably the same as maybe a child who is neurotypical and has never done any of those things and then goes
yeah,
and doesn't work out for them either sometimes.
that's right. That's
That
right.
first year. So you said you have people that you receive applications for and people who attend your program that are from all over the country.
Yeah,
And there are probably some parents who would go, holy crap, I'm not letting my child leave the state
sure.
because
Yeah.
that's scary for them. Um, so tell us a little bit about the individuals and the success that you have seen for people who come from out of state and what you would tell to those families.
Yeah. I mean, I've had I had a student from the Bahamas. He was an American citizen, but he
Wow.
grew up in the Bahamas. Another one from Switzerland, also an American citizen, but he grew up there. And, both of those guys fly to Atlanta, get from the airport to school. Both of them have jobs, I mean, they're able to navigate that on their own. Not everybody might be able to do that in the beginning, but I've had students from California, from Massachusetts, from all over the country. And typically, both the student and the families are comfortable with it as much as they can be,
Yeah.
because of the environment that we offer when the student is here. For some people, that's just not going to be what they want. And hopefully there's options in their state that they can, apply to, and so they don't have to go out of state. But it's really going to depend on what you want. There are programs out there that provide a great college experience, but they're not too focused on the work part.
Yeah.
We're very focused on both the work and the college experience. So it just depends on what you're looking for.
And I think there's programs out there for different levels of ability. Some teach those independent skills in the program and don't require as much independent skills coming in. And I think that there's also programs in I think in 49 states. I think there's one state that like doesn't have any. I forgot which one it is.
It could be one or it could be more. It was more before, but I don't know. Yeah, there's programs. So there are programs that offer a lot of oversight and it's more lockstep in the experience. So our program offers a lot of independence. So we have a lot of touch points in terms of staff and mentors and tutors and all of that. But if a student decides at 1 a.m. they're going to go to Burger King, they can go to Burger King at 1 a.m. Now, most of our students would never do that. They're rule followers, but it could happen. And so, that's something that we go over with our families. We explain, if you're concerned about your student going out on their own and, not having that sort of oversight, then my program wouldn't be for them, but there might be another one out there
Right.
that, that's less likely to happen.
Yeah. So if we have, we have a bunch of members from all over the country, and say somebody's child is like 22 and they're going, oh my gosh, I'm just finding out about this. Is
Yep.
it an option for families who maybe are either about to transition out of high school or have already made that transition to apply to programs like yours, or take a year to go, I'm going to have my child go work for a year and then apply so they can maybe be more qualified with that year of
Yeah,
work?
yeah. Our cutoff age is 26.
Okay.
Um, I think having been out of school for a year or two, if you're active and you're doing something, is actually a benefit because there's a lot of maturity that happens over a year or two. I have people apply and I'll tell them that I think they would benefit from a gap year,
Yeah.
whether that's in a structured program that offers something or by working, getting some work experience. I think a lot of maturity comes with that. So yeah, our program, certainly it's possible, and I know that there are others out there where it would be an option as well. You don't want to see like a 40-year-old student in a college dorm with a 19-year-old student,
Yeah.
so that's kind of the same, but yeah.
Is it for the age of 26? Is it starting by the time you're 26, or is it the application age of 26?
Yeah, at 20, you could apply at 26.
Okay. Yeah, because
I don't get many of those. If you've been
yeah.
out that long, typically, um, you're already involved in things at that point. But I have had a few that were 24, 25.
Yeah. So the other benefit that I've heard to knowing about these programs earlier rather than later is the cost, and being able to, a lot of parents they set up college funds or save for their kids' education or have time to look into what scholarships are and stuff like that. So talk a little bit about the financial piece and the benefit to starting earlier as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's never too early to start saving for college. Unfortunately, there are not the same sort of financial instruments available to our students as there are to degree-seeking students. So Stafford loans are not an option for our students yet. That would take federal policy changes. However, Pell Awards are available if the program is a comprehensive transition program, and that's a certification you get from the Department of Education, the federal DOE. So for those students, you could get 36 or something hundred a semester if you qualify for it.
Okay.
But it's really going to be state by state. Some states have some really progressive things in place that provide options for students. Georgia, for example, we have the Hope Scholarship, but it's not available to our students.
It's not.
Nope, nope. But there are certain, like I think the 50, is it the 501(c)
Yeah.
college education accounts. That's really going to be program by program. What you would have to talk with your lender or whatever, or that account to find out whether or not it could be used for a certificate. So it's really case by case and state by state, but in some states, Georgia Vocational Rehab might offer some sort of tuition assistance or funding that's not available in Georgia.
They
It
used to.
used to be, but no longer. There may be states out there where it is an option. So it
Yeah.
really is going to depend.
Yeah. I do know personally, we have a grants and scholarships section on our website held through all stages of life. A lot of like businesses, whether they be small local businesses or larger corporations, offer grants and scholarships specifically for people who are seeking a certificate in the disability community.
Yep.
It's just, it's always finding them. Everything in this is finding them, landing page after landing page after landing page. So if you are a member, check that out, because there's options there for applications. And then are there scholarship opportunities through the school that individuals and families can apply for?
Yeah, I've been able to give out scholarship money every year that we've operated. But it's not a ton. It helps, but it's not enough to cover a full, tuition and
Right.
housing and all that.
Yeah.
But we give it when we have it. I've been given scholarship money through the Georgia Council on Developmental Disabilities for several years, and we give that out. And then I'm always looking to raise funds and extra money to help students where I can.
Yeah. No, can anybody use any type of waiver funds for your program? Do you know? I would think you would know.
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess it would depend on the waiver, and
Yeah.
you'd have to look into it. I don't want to. I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
can't recall anybody using them, but it doesn't mean it's not possible.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so that's a little bit of the financial piece. I want to go back to like that early age, the IEP meetings, preparing. We said that some teachers are not aware of these programs, which hopefully will change one day. Um, but what would you encourage families who are working within a school system that isn't aware of programs like yours, um, to take to those teachers? Like we had a woman that we interviewed who has disabilities herself, physical disabilities, who said her entire high school was her teacher saying, "You're not going to be able to go to college. You're not going to be able to do this program. There's no way." And she kind of had to figure it out on her own.
Yep.
So what could you tell parents to properly like equip them to go in and say, like, no, this is something we're going to try to pursue?
Yeah, if the school itself is not educated about these programs, then the family is going to have to educate themselves, and then they should go in and talk to their IEP team and educate them on these options and say, look, this is an option. We want to work towards it, and you guys need to get up to speed,
Yeah.
about this option, not just for my son or daughter, but for others,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, there's just not enough schools that are aware of them, or they're not really aware of what they do. And so that might be the first step. The other thing is looking at whether or not the schools have programs after they graduate that are embedded into the school. There are some like work-based programs that high schools have. Project Search is one of them out here, where a student will take sort of career independent living related courses and do internships for a year. That's a great option to have, especially since under IDEA they can stay I think up till 21. So
Yeah.
why not get that experience to be more competitive and then apply to a college program? You're only going to be more successful when you get there. So looking at those and then helping their son or daughter advocate for that, and then advocating for them.
Would the transition coordinators, because I know transition coordinators are not usually in the IEP meetings, but might be more aware of the programs. So would that be an option for somebody to contact their transition coordinator and have them say, hey, you need to provide some information to these teachers?
You could try. I mean, I've given multiple talks to school districts, to their, psychology staff, to their transition coordinators, and even to teachers. And I've done, over the last 8 or 9 years. And even in the state of Georgia, with multiple programs, there are lots of them that they just don't know about it. So, I would talk to everybody. I'd talk to the principal, I would talk to the teachers. I would plant the seed in their head that these are possible. And then if there are programs in your state, you would talk to them about maybe holding a transition fair or an online event for other families of students with disabilities that might be eligible for these programs.
Yeah.
So there's lots of ways to do it.
talk to the other parents and just band together, have one big meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
with
Yeah.
the um so if you could, I mean, you work with a lot of families, you see probably a lot of different situations, have a lot of different stories. So if you could give our members and families one piece of advice or one tidbit on either your program or preparing for programs like this, what would it be?
Um, I would say that, you know, the world is changing. College is an option for some students. And in college, they can, participate in an education, gain work skills, gain social skills, continue to mature, and gain confidence that they can go out into the world and participate and be, a member of society in a meaningful way, just like everybody else. And that in order to prepare them for that, if it is an option, you need to do everything you can to tick all the boxes of the things that they're likely to experience when they get to college. So being able to do your own laundry, being able to navigate places, being comfortable on your own. It's not any one thing about college that's hard. It's all the new things that come your way in college. And so the more boxes that you can tick for that student, they can tick for themselves, the more comfortable and successful they're going to be when they get here. So yeah. I would have that mindset that you're preparing them for a more independent life. And it may be that they're always going to depend on you in some shape or form. There are lots of people that can't do their taxes. Well, maybe they're not going to do their taxes, but there are people that can do your taxes for you.
I do not do my taxes.
There you go. So getting a college experience means that, over 2 to 4 years, you're going to gain additional skills and confidence, and you may still need help with things, but you may have the confidence to do things that you hadn't done before. And so yeah. To consider all of that as you go through this journey towards college or whatever is next as you transition out of high school.
Yeah. And start early. No harm. The earlier the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for educating us a little bit on how people can be preparing for programs like yours. We're going to be giving a lot more information out on options for programs, different programs available, whether you're really independent or maybe need to learn a little bit more of those skills. But we wanted to start with you because preparing for those programs is key. So thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.